Good evening, more Wolfpack. I figured that I would mix it up and give a verbal summary of tonight's games, mostly because I've had too much scotch to type, and it would be very hard. So, cheers to you. Tonight, Riley and I had some great games. Sigil Forge is a beast and a half of a format, and honestly, it was insanity. He was running Annihilation Ritual, which again kills when anytime a creature dies is purged. I was running Fangtooth Cavern, which is at the end of every one of my turns, we kill the lowest power creature. So we were killing creatures left and right. He also had a Rise to Dis and a couple other one other board clear. I didn't, but it led to shenanigans and a lot of creatures dying. We only went through, I think, the deck on the game one. We only went through it once, but it definitely was sort of a different feeling to have all of your creatures just going straight to the purge pile instead of the graveyard. Game one, I think, was the closer of the two games. I definitely had I'm taking my notes here. See, I got my notes. So my sort of early game, we had the Unfathomable kind of kept my tempo. My Unfathomable has two Frigorific Rods, a couple Recusal Chants, and so it definitely sort of slowed down the tempo. A couple of the fun terms I had was Shadows into Seeker Needle with what's his name? Hard Simpson. So it was definitely a game with me sort of using the tempo that I got with the Fangtooth. My Fangtooth Cavern definitely slowed his deck down a lot. His deck had a lot of smaller creatures that didn't really love Fangtooth keeping up with it. I had a lot of tricks in there with a Shadow Id, Seeker Needle, and Hard Simpson. He definitely rocked some bait and switched, but and had his Untamed. He had a Lash in there, which slowed me down a bit. But the reality was that overall, I was able to just kind of keep the tempo going with my big creatures and the board wipes to get there. My favorite turn, sort of the end of the game, I think I needed like 3 or 4 embers to get there. I had a Shadows turn with Urchin into Simpson into... Oh, I can't even read my own handwriting. This is the drunk history aspect of it. So that was game one. I think it was the closer of our two games. Definitely was neck and neck for a bit. It was 3-2, but I definitely sort of took the lead. And then second game, early on, I think in the first 2 turns, I played 3 Underwater Gruins, which is just brutal. And again, nothing you can really do with that. I used the Hornswoggle into his Life Ward, so it had a turn where at the end of my turn, I had eliminated someone with Fangtooth Cavern. He had a turn where he played only one creature out, and then the next turn I killed his creature, and then Hornswoggled into the Life Ward, which is kind of a brutal Hornswoggle. Like, if you think about what Hornswoggle does and how often it gets used, like, it's a pretty brutal way to have it. And then again, just from there, it was not really possible to keep up. He had probably one of the worst wormholes I've ever seen. And Riley, I'm sorry, buddy, I'm not trying to call you out, but he wormholed into a Rise, and a Rise in the format where you have no creatures in your graveyard and you get a chain for it is just absolutely the worst. We both just groaned, and it was emblematic of the match. And at the end, just was able to kind of grind it out with Shadows. So Riley, welcome to the league. It was a ton of fun playing with you. I had a great time. Again, cheers to you. It was fun, and I hope that we get to play in person, and I hope y'all enjoyed the Drunken History version of Sigil Forge summary of week 1 of the Keyforge Olympics Part 2. The TM, I believe. All right, everyone, have a good night.